there are a lot of talented people who applied for the same job as you. And the fact that you made it to the interview process, that's huge. Count that as a victory, my friend, because not everyone gets past the application process. Welcome back to another episode of the Workforce Link podcast, where we're offering forward-thinking conversations for the workforce, linking employers and job seekers to a brighter tomorrow. I'm your host, Sunday Joe, with the Central Workforce Development Region. Honored to be back with you for another episode. So let's just be honest right off the bat. Not getting the job is no fun, right? You put the effort in to research, apply, create a resume, create a cover letter. You do the interview. You might do more than one. You do the follow-up, and the list goes on. Then you hear that you don't get the job. But guess what? Despite that, you can still win. On today's episode, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to recover after you don't get the job. Before we dive into today's episode, I would love to ask you for a favor. If you haven't already, would you mind heading over, leaving a review on iTunes for the Workforce Link? It lets us know that you enjoy the show. Let us know what you enjoy about the show too. Tell us what you enjoy. It means a lot to us, and it helps us stay visible so that others can easily find us also. So now that we've covered that, let's dive into today's episode on 3 tips to help you overcome defeat when you don't get the job. It's easy to want to stay frustrated when you get the call or the email that says, hey, we're sorry, but we've gone with another candidate. Good luck in your job search. But don't let that keep you down, okay? You can turn this into something positive and you can learn from it. The first thing you want to do is reflect on what happened. We talked about that actually in a little bit in a previous episode, episode 9 of season 1, 3 things you need to know about failure in order to find success. It's not that you failed because you didn't get the job, but the same principle applies to what we discussed in that episode regarding what we call the after action review. I will link to that episode in the show notes and take the opportunity to go back and listen to that. So helpful. Reflection, which is what we talked about, is the key to moving forward, okay? Reflection is the key to moving forward. And remember that as you reflect, okay, the recruiter or the employer, they didn't say, hey, sorry, but you're never getting this job. It's so important to remember that it is not personal, okay? It's just business. It's not personal. They're not rejecting you as a person, okay? They're just saying, I don't think you're the right fit. And guess what? That may not be forever. Reflect on that. Reflect that there are a lot of talented people who applied for the same job as you. And the fact that you made it to the interview process, that's huge. Count that as a victory, my friend, because not everyone gets past the application process. Many years ago, actually, I applied for a job doing social media for a company. I didn't get the job, and I was frustrated, but I knew that I had the talent to do that job, and that there was a company who would want me. So when I applied to this job, companies weren't on board yet with the understanding that using social media to grow their business wasn't really an option, that they had to invest in that. And so I had some pretty stiff competition. Well, I decided I was going to start a blog, a personal blog, and it was going to be just focused on basically why you needed to hire me. So in it, I told past stories that showed my enthusiasm, showed my level of leadership, my willingness to work hard, etc. And the employer that interviewed me, that turned me down for that job, actually got wind of that, read my stuff, went and read the blog, reached out to me and said, I made a mistake. You are the one for the job. So what would have happened if I wouldn't have stepped back from that situation, caught my breath, and then implemented another plan? I probably never would have gotten that job, right? Guess what? It was great training ground that led me right to where I am today, using social media to connect employers and job seekers. So remember that perspective is everything. Before we dive into the next two strategies, I want to share something exciting with you. Actually, I want to ask you a question. Are you looking for career training without even having to leave the house? I've got good news for you, my friend. We recently launched the Career Club, a virtual work experience for job seekers ages 14 to 24. So here's how it works. We assist you with job seeking skills, personal management skills, how to meet employer expectations, money management principles, good work habits, and more. And after training is complete, you receive job placement, allowing you to implement your newly developed skills. And here's the cool part. You get paid while you learn. That's right. Participants earn $13 an hour during Career Club participation, with possible transition to a higher wage upon work experience placement. This, my friend, is an exciting opportunity to earn while you learn. To sign up or learn more, visit cwdregion.com/career-club. That's cwdregion.com/career-club. And now let's get back to the 3 tips to help you overcome defeat when you don't get the job. All right, number 2, change your mindset to be grateful. Now, wait a minute. You're telling me that I need to be grateful that I didn't get the job. Absolutely, that's what I'm telling you. Exactly what I'm saying. Because your character says everything. How you react to a no matters, because you never know if that no might turn to a yes someday. Say that 3 times fast. You never know if that no might turn to a yes someday. I want to encourage you to send the employer a thank you note for letting you know. Because they didn't have to tell you didn't get the job, right? But they were courteous enough to do so. So by you reciprocating that courtesy, you're going to blow their minds. Why? Because most people do not take the time to send a thank you note. You stand out, and they will remember that. And while you're filling out that thank you note, do not hesitate to let them know you're still interested in working for their company in the future. Don't miss that opportunity to tell them that. Let them know you'll touch base with them every now and then and give them your contact information in case they have something that comes up. Make it very clear to them that you're being proactive in your efforts, even after rejection. All right, number 3, be humble. It's so easy to get our feelings hurt, right? And move on with this attitude that just says, hey, forget them. I'm better than them anyway. Whatever, insert your own statement here, right? We've all been there. But what if we stopped allowing our pride to get in the way and we went back to steps number 1 and steps number 2? Being the bigger person, my friend, will get you so much further in life, even if you can't see that now. Mark my words. And remember, there could be another job that opens up at that company. They're going to remember your attitude. They'll remember your humility. It's very possible that you were one of their top choices too, but you just didn't make the cut that time around. It's also possible that if that's the case, they might skip the hiring process next time around, pick up the phone and call you, especially if you remember to send them that thank you card that we talked about in the last step. Bear Bryant, former head coach of the University of Alabama, says this about pride. Show class, have pride, and display character. If you do, winning takes care of itself. Show class, have pride, and display character. If you do, winning takes care of itself. Now, he's not talking about the arrogance pride, right? Humility, humility, humility. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we've discussed in today's episode. We're not always going to get the job, right? Number 1, we need to reflect on what happened. Number 2, be grateful. Number 3, be humble. Not getting the job can feel so defeating, especially if you've been looking for a while. But my friend, don't let that keep you down. The right opportunity for you is out there. It's right around the corner. And I trust that if you follow these 3 steps, You're gonna recover from disappointment a lot quicker. You've got this, okay? You've got this. I hope this episode was helpful for you today, and if so, please share it with others. And if you haven't already, don't forget to leave us a review, preferably a big 5-star. Have a great week, my friend, and we'll meet again in the next episode. Until then, remember this: there's always a brighter tomorrow if you're willing to find it. The Central Region Workforce Development Board Incorporated and COPIC are equal opportunity employers and programs. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Missouri Relay Services at 711.